What are you doing a survey on?
We are doing a story on the relation between the Southeast community and the Northwest. Southeast in the 60s through the 80s, a lot of houses were destroyed and families were displaced because of the construction of Route 30.
Yeah, that Route 30 did bring about a divide, you know.
Okay.
These are not what they used to be.
And when they, you know, start building 30, you know, they try to acquire the whole street, you know, but it was just one church that didn't want to go.
So I was talking with Jackie Stuckey. She's a professor at Leone, and she did her dissertation on public housing in Canton.
When public housing was put into Canton, it was, first of all, concentrated in the southeast end. And so what happened, the urban renewal project in Canton tended to focus in the southeast end, which was primarily poor and African American. And some of those urban renewal projects included the Cherry Street Bridge, which went over the railroad track, but served as a kind of artificial barrier between downtown and southeast Canton. Even more so was Route 30.
Right now I'm going to be meeting with Darren Nisley. He is a resident of this neighborhood that we're in, the Southeast, and he's also the executive director of Lighthouse Ministries, which is right behind me where we're going to be meeting for our conversation. Lighthouse is a nonprofit that focuses on combating generational poverty that is so present in this neighborhood ever since the 60s and the displacement that happened around the construction of Route 30. We're going to be meeting with Dustin White, who is a resident of the Northwest, and he's a pastor there at Radial Church, and he also helps out with Flourish 44703. That's a nonprofit that focuses on restoring blighted homes in that neighborhood that the city potentially wants to tear down through the comprehensive plan.
So Dustin, you know, living in the Northwest, I know that your community is just facing a lot of, you know, potential change. And a lot of, you know, we've talked about this idea of this external power having this influence on the internal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, maybe say a little bit about that, but like where's the hope for you guys? What are you guys latching on to?
Yeah, the hope for me is that our neighbors are having that audacity to dream, right? Which, and I think in a lot of disenfranchised and disadvantaged communities, that's one of the things that's, I think, the marker of poverty is when folks no longer dream.
Have you heard of Canton's comprehensive plan? It's a comprehensive plan that they wrote up in 2016 that talks about urban renewal in the city. And in the Summit neighborhood, which is Northwest, which is Shore, right? They're thinking of, or their plans are intact to start and purchase some homes there, take them down, and kind of restore that community.
So the comprehensive plan was authored in 2016 as a final document and approved by council. The main thing of the comprehensive plan is that it identified target investment areas of the city. And from the research, it was found that, you know, the city of Canton was getting older, poorer, and population was depleting. So the emphasis for the plan was to identify the strong areas in the city and put as much economic backing in those areas to stabilize them and to get them moving even better into the future.
Yeah, so the comp plan, remember, like it talked about kind of 5 critical areas in the city. One of the key areas, obviously, is downtown, right? So downtown becomes a critical area. Yeah. Obviously, we have the Hall of Fame as another critical area within the comp plan. We also have 2, one of the greatest assets that our city has, we have 2 top 50 hospitals. All right, so you have Mercy Hospital that's here, and then you also have Altman Hospital that's here. So what's the other critical area here? Well, the idea is to link these all together, but to link them together, they go through my neighborhood.
The comprehensive plan that Canton wrote up focuses on this neighborhood, specifically Fulton Drive, because it connects downtown to the Hall of Fame. And in the next 5 to 10 years, they're trying to renew this area, which is mainly residential, putting businesses, putting restaurants, so that it looks a little more flashy as people drive from Canton, downtown Canton, to the Hall of Fame.
Shorb is geographically very important to the city because it's on 2 of the most major corridors in the city, being Tusk and Fulton. It connects the downtown, connects through the downtown to the Hall of Fame area, as well as the Altman area. And it is an area that is mired in blight, very impoverished, and overabundance of tax delinquent foreclosures and demolished homes. So a lot of vacant land available.
Right now we are in the northwest neighborhood. This is the Summit Shorb neighborhood, and we are looking for some abandoned homes. We're kind of just looking around, looking at front doors to see if we can find any homes that are boarded up or have signs on the front saying that the city owns them, or that they're, I don't know, any notices about foreclosures or things like that. Check the door here.
So 44703 it's a nonprofit organization that was started mainly because we heard our neighbors really talking about how there's a financial burden because they're paying too much for their housing.
So what does home ownership mean to you?
You can live better. You'll live better because you won't have to be a slave to this guy here paying him X amount of dollars.
What we fear is that the people in this neighborhood don't earn as much respect as the people who they're trying to serve.
We have folks that have lived decades in this neighborhood. The interesting thing is we also have folks, when the displacement that you just described occurred, many of them wound up in our neighborhood, right? So my neighbors remember what it's like. And there is this painful, emotional deja vu that's occurring now. So with the comprehensive plan that's being suggested, I heard one older gentleman say, "Because man, this feels like the Southeast all over again."
So we've been driving around trying to look for this abandoned home that I've been in, and it's right here. We've been driving around for 15 minutes and it's completely level. There was a brown home that looked a lot like the one up here that had a sign on the front that gave a notice. The door was open, so I actually went around and looked inside, and it's gone. So, just like that, a couple weeks later.
Every house that we're tearing down now from start to finish, that is my responsibility. I work for the mayor and I'm assigned to the building department. Blighted, vacant, and tax delinquent. We have looked at, and we're probably going to tear down houses right now to date with $1.5 million in tax debt.
So it's not a benefit to everyone for the values to increase, and it doesn't reach your goal of everyone owning a home. Because not everyone can afford a $70,000 house. Some people can only afford a $30,000 house. So when you destroy a neighborhood that has a community in it, with people who can afford to live here, and you raise the values, you're displacing those people who aren't going to make more money.
So this is a comp plan that benefits the city, but do you envision the people that currently exist living in this section, do they benefit from it, or are they displaced so that someone else can reap the benefits of their pain?
So my question to you is, can you see us as a partner in raising up the houses to a higher level that are here for the people that are here? And is there a way we can start that communication? Because that house would have been perfect.
When I was riding the bus, I felt this kind of odd tension that I didn't really like. I wish I can get to a place of actually engaging people, because I think once I learn their stories, I'll move past the state of judgment and actually say, oh, I know these people and I know where they're living and I know how they're living.
The goal is to turn the Shore area back into a very vibrant and functioning residential mixed-use neighborhood.
A neighborhood that's just bound together by relationship with each other, care for each other and concern for each other, and a partnership with the city, because I mean the truth is, we need the city.